This is Marie again. I am back with another video today. I wanted to make this video in the spirit of New Year's and in the spirit of New Year's resolutions, which hopefully last longer than 5 minutes. But anyways, what I'm going to talk about today is living independently with cerebral palsy. Because my independence has been something I questioned ever since I was a child, and if I'm being completely honest, I still have a tendency to question it today, going into my adulthood. So I wanted to start out by talking about my childhood, because it is where I established this question of whether or not I could live independently as an adult. And so I'm gonna be honest again. It mostly came from my mom, and I'm not trying to put her under the bus or complain about it, because I do understand where she came from. But she was always, Marie, I don't think you can do this. Marie, I'm gonna help you do this because I don't think that you're going to do it correctly. And so that really was the foundation for it. I mentioned before that I'm a triplet. So I always had my sisters around me too. And so they were always something that I could fall back on. So I kind of was always dependent upon someone, whether that be my parents, whether that be my sisters. I always had someone there, so I didn't have to be completely independent. As I said in my other videos, I taught myself how to ride a bike. My parents didn't want to waste their time trying to teach me how to ride a bike, and so they didn't, and I took it into my own hands. I didn't know how to tie my shoes. I always had someone else tie my shoes. I always had someone else zip my coat. And those were basic things that a 6, 7, 8-year-old should know how to do, and I didn't do them, and so that made me question whether or not I could be successful in my life. And let me just say, yes, now I know how to zip my coat, I know how to tie my shoes, so that's all good. But not without some practice. But anyways, so I never really had to be dependent. I never really had to be independent in my childhood. And even going into my teenage years, I was still dependent upon my sisters to do a lot of things I didn't learn in my childhood. And even with my going into my teenage years and going to different functions, going to different activities, it was always, oh, can you watch out for Marie? Can you take care of Marie? Keep an eye on Marie. Again, couldn't even watch out for myself. I had to have someone there by my mom's wishes. So I gradually, in my teenage years, started to rebel. And I was like, I don't care what you guys are saying, I'm just gonna go for it. I don't care if I fall, I don't care if I break something, I don't care, whatever happens to me, I'm gonna be happy that I just did something, and I can say, look, I did that. And so I just kind of let myself indulge in the independence, which was very nice. Even outside of my high school experience, the summer of graduation, like a month after I graduated from high school, I was out painting someone's house, and they were like, hey Marie, can you go up onto the roof and paint? And I was like, sure, I'm very hesitant about this. Like, what would my mom say? That kept playing in the back of my mind. Like, my mom would hate this. Should I go up there? Can I do this without killing myself? But I did go up on the roof, and I do have to say, like, that was a big thing for me, just to be able to do that, because I know that my parents, my mom specifically, myself included, would hold myself back from doing that, but I was like, hey, I'm just gonna do it, whatever. And so I found that, you know, I've been in college for about a year and a half now, and even though CP bugs me, I'm not gonna let it define me. I go out there, I take the bus, I get my groceries, I go to dances, I do everything that a normal college student would do. So I don't let CP get in my way. And I live independently. I try to live independently because I want to. I do have to say that I don't drive. I have my driver's permit. I've had it since I was 15. I've probably driven about 6 times, but I just hate driving. I don't want to be held responsible if someone loses their life because of me. Because I don't know how big of an impact CP has on my driving. I think it definitely does have an impact on my driving, and I've come to terms with the fact that, okay, I'll take the bus. I really don't care to drive. It just stresses me out. It makes me anxious. And so there. And so that is basically my independence right there. So I would encourage anyone with cerebral palsy to kind of step out of the box. I think most of the time we get placed into a box of what we can and what we can't do. But you'll never know until you give it a try. And once you give it a try, you might be very proud of yourself. But I wish you the best in 2017, and I will probably see you later in 2017. Hopefully it's a better year than 2016. Alright, see ya.